We can go ahead and get started. I will start. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. David Blackmore, and I'm very happy to welcome you to the 2021 LATI Colloquium on behalf of the NJCU Center for Latin American, Caribbean, and Latinx Studies, or as we like to call ourselves, the LATI Center. So welcome, everybody. I am one of the co-directors of the LATI Center, along with my colleague, Dr. Cora Lagos. You'll be hearing from her tomorrow afternoon, as she'll be the host of the closing ceremony, which starts tomorrow at 5:15. So please be sure to join us for that. We've got some great music lined up for that. Along with the center, I want to recognize the Colloquium's two additional primary co-sponsors. And the first is the Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies academic program. And that's the program that offers courses in general education. And that's a program that also offers the minor in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies. Representing the LATI academic program today is Dr. Virginia Ochoa Weinmiller, who is here with us. And she, together with Dr. Lagos, is one of the three of us are the Colloquium organizers. And in fact, Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller is the inventor of the LATI Colloquium. Back in 2017, it was her idea to bring all this together, and she has been crucial in making it happen ever since then. Our second major co-sponsor is the World Languages and Cultures Department, of which Dr. Lagos is the chair, and that's the department that offers the major and minor in Spanish, as well as minors in Middle Eastern and East Asian studies as well. Let me just say, I won't speak long, but I want to say a few words about the LATI Center, what we are, what we're trying to do, and what our goals are. It's a very new center. We were founded in 2019, and we are housed in Carnutzis 102. It's a bright new space that Dr. Lagos has been working very hard to get for us, and you'll actually see that space in the art exhibition today, as well as she'll be filming the closing ceremony from there. Our center has two primary missions, and I often see universities that have greater resources than we do would very often actually separate these two missions into separate centers. But at NJCU, in part because of limited resources, we are one center, but I think there are some real benefits to doing these two missions together. So the first mission is that we are, in a sense, a traditional scholarly institute that promotes research on Latin America, the Caribbean, and US Latinx communities. And we promote that research on the part of faculty, staff, students, and alumni, both at NJCU and the surrounding area. We also work on curriculum development and promote new courses and curriculum with a focus on Latin America, the Caribbean, and US Latinx communities. We consider that this scholarly work to be an important element of university-wide efforts toward internationalization, those efforts that are also represented very directly by our colleagues in the Office of Global Initiatives, and especially and also in the new Guarini Institute for International Studies. So that's the one side, that very scholarly and international focus. And on the other side is that we are a community-based center that is focused on providing Latinx students with culturally relevant programming, and also a place to gather that honors and celebrates what scholar Gina Ann Garcia calls Latinx ways of knowing. This element of our mission is intimately tied to the university-wide mission as a federally designated Hispanic Serving Institution, or HSI. And I'm sure many of you know what an HSI is, and some don't. For those who are not familiar with the term, this is a designation that is given to colleges and universities that serve a student body that is at least 25% Hispanic or Latinx. And our student body is currently, the undergraduate student body is 43% Latinx. And so we are well above the 25% threshold. And across the university, we're working really hard to figure out ways that we can best serve our Latinx students, that we can put that serving into the Hispanic serving institutions. The LATI Center is a central part of that, and we have many partners in that effort, but two of the most important are the Council on Hispanic Affairs, or CHA, and also the student organization FELA, which is Federación de Estudiantes Latinoamericanos. And so those are two important partners, but there are many other partners out there. The LATI Colloquium, for which we're gathered today, it really brings together those two primary missions in what I think is an exciting way. And in terms of the center's mission as a scholarly institute with a strong international focus, you'll hear, especially tomorrow, we have faculty and student scholars from fields like history, sociology, technology, geography, conflict resolution, and they're going to be presenting work on Cuba, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, among other places. So that's definitely happening. In terms of the center's other main focus on Latinx community-based mission, you'll be exposed to the student curated Latinx art exhibition that we'll be hearing about today. We have an author of bilingual children's books. We're going to have a musical performance tomorrow by the students of the Latin American Ensemble. And we have some creative writing in a lovely range of formats by Latinx writers coming up tomorrow as well. So we're really trying to do all of these things and to make the connections between these different elements of what we do. With such a huge or ambitious agenda for both the center and the colloquium, there is no way that Dr. Lagos and Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller and I could pull any of this off on our own. And so we have a lot of thank yous for those who have helped to make this happen and have worked tirelessly to make this virtual colloquium a reality in these very difficult times. So first, of course, I gotta thank the co-organizers, Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller from the Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies Academic Program, and Dr. Lagos, co-director of the LATI Center and chair of World Languages and Cultures Department. We are a great team. We get nervous about different things and we calm each other down about different things, and we put our skill sets together. I got to thank President Henderson, who has been a big supporter of the LATI Center and the colloquium right from the start. We have so much appreciation for the Provost's office, and you're going to hear from Provost Joshi in just a couple of minutes. I think in her office, the Associate Provost, Nerdan Adin and Maria Lynn are probably our two biggest cheerleaders out there in the university. They are always rooting for us and helping us in every way that they can. Also, Dean Sidesius in the College of Arts and Sciences, his office supports us a great deal. The Dean himself, as well as Associate Dean Scott Mittman, and especially Associate Dean Jason Martinek, who's probably though the top three cheerleaders are Nerdan, Maria, and Jason, and they really do make us understand that the work we're doing is valuable. Definitely have to thank the Office of Global Initiatives and Associate Vice President Tamara Cunningham, who usually throws us a great party at the end of the colloquium. We'll be back for that next year, Tamara. Also want to thank the Guarini Institute for International Studies. Executive Director Adrian Franco is going to be speaking to us tomorrow at the closing ceremony. We got to thank the Council on Hispanic Affairs, or CHA. President Ivelisse Cruz is going to speak in a few minutes. Vice President Christian Vergara, always a great support, and e-board member Crystal Mateo, who helps us. She has so much expertise in the events, and she helped us a lot with that. We want to thank the Marketing and Communications Department, especially Madeline De La Rama, who makes our beautiful promotional materials, and then Ella Rue, who gets them out into the world for us. That I've gotten so many compliments on our promotional materials. So thank you to them. Thank you to the curators of the student art exhibit, Alva Toledo and Cesar Sanchez. We'll be hearing from them later. And thanks very much help with that student assistant from World Languages and Cultures, Joandra Vasquez Perez, who you'll be meeting later. She has been a huge help. And then finally, graduate assistant Chris Genti, who is our good friend John Melendez recommended her. She's a graduate student, a doctoral student in the Community College Leadership Program. And she is our Zoom guru. We were very intimidated about putting this whole thing together on Zoom, and she really made it happen. And so we got really nervous about that. And she has calmed us down repeatedly, and she's making it happen. So thank you to all of you and many other people and everybody who's participating. We really appreciate it. So now we'll move on to our speakers and our programming for this evening. First up is Provost Tamara Joshi, who is Provost and Senior Vice President here at NJCU. She has been hugely supportive of the LATI Center and the LATI Colloquium. And I actually especially want to mention her work in last fall with the Colloquium and bringing Gina Ann Garcia, who is really one of the leading scholars on Hispanic serving institutions. And that was a really important step in recognizing NJCU's role as an HSI. It was a really important step in engaging in, one more step in engaging a long-term conversation about how we can really be effective in serving our Latinx students. So Dr. Joshi, welcome.
Thank you so much, David. It's a great honor to participate in the opening ceremony for this year's LATI Colloquium at NJCU. And I do want to thank, in addition to you thanking the cast of thousands, Dr. Blackmore, I'd like to echo that thanks to Dr. Lagos and to Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller. And I'm really delighted to share a few moments with you. It certainly does take a village to plan and organize and execute an event such as this. And I should add, all choreographed through Zoom. And I also want to thank the faculty and staff who are presenting, the support staff, all the students, as well as the dedicated IT staff at NJCU who have miraculously kept our professional lives ticking for more than a year in remote work. So if you would all just join me in a bit of virtual applause for all the organizers and all the participants. It's really an amazing event. As we look forward to the opening tributes and remarks and the presentation of papers tomorrow, I want to recognize the significant contribution of the LATI Center at NJCU in promoting research, scholarship, and intellectual inquiry in our community. Browsing the titles of the papers suggests the thematic richness that reflects the depth of our community's cultural capital. As you all know, this cultural capital is vital support for our university designation as a Hispanic serving institution. And while the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, HACU, defines an institution as Hispanic serving with a 25% Hispanic and Latinx student body, and as David pointed out, NJCU is larger at 43%. Our convocation speaker last September, Dr. Gina Garcia, noted that being truly Hispanic serving is more than reaching a percentage or a number. Rather, it requires a recognition of what she calls a Latinx enhancing identity, or, quote, one in which the institution recognizes and provides a racially and culturally engaging environment for students, end quote. She suggests that providing this experience is a form of serving students. And I would like to stop a minute and reflect on that statement. Why is this important? What impact does providing a culturally environment have on student experience and student success? I would argue that at its core, it is transformative. At NJCU, we are committed to student success. It is our core mission that our institution makes an excellent university education accessible and affordable to a diverse student population. This is a goal to be proud of and to champion because we know that we are changing lives for the better. Higher education is synonymous with transformation, as it is a great equalizer, particularly for first-generation immigrant students, students of color, and students who are challenged by financial hardship. As a testament to our mission of transformation, New Jersey City University is ranked number 72 nationally in the Social Mobility Index, and it's number 1 in social mobility in the state of New Jersey. Diversity is our strength and our community's life force. Fostering the sense of belonging and inclusion for students is a hallmark of the academic culture at NJCU. And it's certainly what drew me to this institution. As a child growing up in a Midwestern city with non-English speaking immigrant parents I know what a largely homogeneous community looks and feels like. And this community, in contrast, is remarkable. The fact that more than 40 languages are spoken at NJCU still amazes me. Recently, through work on student success with a group of provosts across the country who are members of ASCU, the American Association of State Colleges and Universities, I have encountered the scholarship of Laura Rendon, who has written on what she refers to as validation theory. She, along with other scholars in this field, argue that for so long, institutions have claimed to admit students who are, quote, not prepared, or have deficiency in skills, or, quote, are at risk. We have all heard those phrases dozens of times, and we still do. And so what did higher education do in response to this? Well, institutions set up Byzantine systems of remedial education that had the effect of putting up major barriers to retention and completion. For example, the first-year composition gateway course at many institutions require 1 to 2 remedial non-credit courses prior to taking the credit-bearing 2-semester composition sequence. Thus, in many cases, a student would not complete that composition sequence until the 2nd semester of sophomore year. Think of the consequences of that. Composition is a prereq for so many other courses. So in effect, our institutions set up the barrier of making it impossible to graduate in 4 years. And the disturbing national statistic is that only 1 out of 5 students placed in a remedial English and math class cross the graduation stage and earn a college diploma. Those are deplorable statistics, and we have to fix that. Moreover, students placed in remedial education, often not earning credit, become demoralized and feel as though they do not belong in college. This is what is known as a deficit mindset. And it is one primary cause of students not persisting and leaving college early. As we as educators have created the environment for that mindset. The work of Rendon and others have focused specifically on the effect of the deficit mindset on Latinx students. They argue that educators often are unfamiliar with Latino social and political histories that Latinxes employ to overcome adversity and to excel in education. That acknowledgement forms the basis of an asset-based theoretical framework versus a deficit-based mindset. It is essential, according to Rendon and also to Garcia, that institutions provide academic and cultural spaces of support. And here, I think we can cite the important work of the LATI Center and the breadth of the Latin American, Caribbean, and Latinx curriculum that we offer as fueling an asset-based mindset for a sense of belonging and being validated. Understanding the needs for belonging, especially for first-generation Latinx students, is fundamental to student success in terms of fostering personal and intellectual growth and getting students to the finish line. And it is in this context that I want to highlight the importance of the LATI Center in the work of student success at NJCU. I applaud the efforts of everyone included in this colloquium and extend our collective thanks for the opportunity for intellectual growth provided to our faculty, students, and community. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Provost Joshi. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next up is the president of CHA, the Council on Hispanic Affairs, is Ivelisse Cruz. Ivelisse is a young professional of Puerto Rican and Dominican descent, born and raised in Jersey City. She's the first generation proud graduate of NJCU who successfully completed a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Currently, Ivelisse is a preschool teacher at the Children's Learning Center on campus, and she's pursuing a master's degree in early childhood education with special education emphasis or specialization. As president of CHA, She hopes to continue mentorships and positive relationships between students, faculty, and administrators. And she's going to speak to us about a huge loss here to our LATI community here at the university and in the community at large, and that is about Hugo Morales. So Ivelisse, thank you for joining us.
Hi, hello everyone. I will leave my camera on for now, and if I get emotional, I will probably turn it off, because I don't want to. You guys don't want to see me crying. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Blackmore and Dr. Lagos, for honoring Hugo today. As Dr. Blackmore said, my name is Ivelisse, and I am a preschool teacher at the Children's Learning Center on campus, and I'm also the president of the Council on Hispanic Affairs. I would like to focus on Hugo's dedication to NJCU during his time here as a student, staff, and alum of the university. Hugo was an active member of the Council on Hispanic Affairs for more than 2 decades. He coordinated many cultural events, including the annual Festival de los Andes. With his commitment to the students and community members, Hugo reminded us that with courage and a spirit of service to others, there's no limit to the heights we can reach together. With Hugo's passing, our CHA community has lost an exceptional leader and an active advocate for the advancement of the Latino community. I would like to take this time to share a short story of how I met Hugo and what he means to me. When I first met Hugo, right away, he identified me as a difficult student. I was difficult because I would always ask questions. I would ask him questions all the time. Like, if he told me something, I would ask him why. I always had a question. As I got to know Hugo more, I learned that he was not just a CHA president, he was an advisor, an artist, a mentor, an educator, a colleague, and a friend. I often refer to Hugo as a modern day Renaissance man. Hugo was not just one thing to people, but he was everything to us. He will truly be missed. On behalf of the Council on Hispanic Affairs and JCU community and all those who know Hugo, I would like to say thank you for giving us this opportunity to honor him. I would also like to add that most recently, the Council on Hispanic Affairs e-board has named our CHA scholarship after Hugo, and the deadline is actually today. So if you have any students that are interested in applying for that, they have until the end of the day to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivelisse. And a year of many losses. Some of these are hitting so close to home. Now to speak about another very important loss to our community, NJCU, in Sheila Curvin. We're going to hear from Venida C. Rodman Jenkins. Venida is committed to creating affirming and brave spaces for those who have been oppressed. She has carried out this work for many years as a minister, educator, and advocate. She is currently the director of the Spiker Rubin Women's Center for Equity and Diversity, always a great partner to the center. And she's president of the Black Alumni Administrator, Faculty, Staff, Student and Staff Organization, or BAFSO, and she's also the founder of the Afro-Latinx Collective. Venida, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone. Sheila, without a doubt, would have been at this program because she supported so many of our community events. NJCU and the Jersey City community have suffered a great loss with the passing of our treasured and beloved librarian of all librarians, Sheila Curvin, Education Services Librarian and Associate Professor at the Congressman Frank J. Guarini Library. Working toward equity and visibility for all people and very active in the Senate, AFT, BAFSO, the Gothic Night Ally Safe Zone Program, the Community College Leadership Program, a strong supporter of the Afro-Latinx Collective, and countless other campus and community initiatives, it is befitting that Sheila Curvin be honored at this colloquium during Women's Herstory Month, as she has certainly made herstory. That's our Sheila. Beloved daughter, mother, sister, friend, and colleague, that's our Sheila. Champion of racial equity, LGBTQIA plus inclusion, and women's rights, that's our Sheila. Recipient of the 2019 NJCU Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service Award, that's our Sheila. Lover of NJCU's music, dance, and theater program, Broadway, and all art forms, that's our Sheila. Avid researcher and voracious reader, that's our Sheila. Always reporting back to her committees with valuable resources and information, that's our Sheila. Resolute and unwavering, that's our Sheila. Kind and fun, that's our Sheila. Challenging us to think critically and shake our heads and smile in the process, that's our Sheila. Comic Con enthusiast, that's our Sheila. Creating notable book displays to educate and illuminate, that's our Sheila. Human being extraordinaire, that's our Sheila. Sheila D. Curvin. We still see you. We still hear you. We still feel you. Now we are honored to go and do likewise. Rest in power, dear friend. May your work and legacy live on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fanaya. That's it. You're absolutely right. She certainly would be here. She never missed any LATI colloquium or any event on campus. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I will miss her smile when.
Yeah. And her challenging questions and the question and answer. Yes, for sure. All right. Well, our next speaker is actually a part of the tribute to Sheila, because as many of you know, one of the many contributions that Sheila made was that she worked really hard to make sure that our library had a very extensive collection of multicultural children's literature, and that it reflected the diversity and richness of children's backgrounds. And so we're very excited to have our next speaker, Diana Lee Santamaria, who is an experienced educator and an award-winning Latinx children's author of bilingual preschool learning series called D. Lee's World, which is a semi-fictional world based on both her own childhood and her experiences in the classroom. With a master's degree in early childhood education, Santamaria incorporates preschool Common Core objectives, diversity, playful verbiage, and developmentally appropriate learning strategies to help increase literacy and learning. I also have to add that she is the daughter of NJCU's own Jose Santamaria, who before his retirement in December worked in facilities and construction management. And actually Jose played a huge role in us getting our space in Carnutzis and getting it furnished. And he even made us a beautiful, someday when the money's there, we have a beautiful plan for the center. So we're very happy to have Jose back, and we're very, very happy to get to know his daughter, Diana. So we're gonna have a video presentation. So Chris.
Welcome.
It's muted. There's no sound, please. When you do share,
you have to share audio.
the button, yeah.
Diana, I think you have to share the sound with us. So if you go to view options, you should be able to share the sound up top.
Wait, are you guys talking to me? Sorry.
Yes, the sound. We can't hear the sound.
So
I think it's
Diana's not
Chris.
sharing it, actually, Chris is.
So
Yeah,
Chris, when you do your share screen, there's a button that says to share the audio as well. So you might have to stop and share all over again.
Talk about myself, my series. Hi, everyone. I am so honored to be a part of this year's 2021 LATI Colloquium. A special thanks to Mrs. Lagos and Mr. Blackmore for this opportunity. My name is Diana Lee Santamaria, and I am an educator and award-winning children's author of the Dealey's World bilingual book series. Today, I'm going to talk about myself, my series, and how it came to be, and read from one or two of my stories if time allows. The inspiration for Dealey's World began when I was just a little girl. I didn't know it then, but all my life was leading up to educating and eventually writing, speaking, and inspiring our youngest learners, and hopefully adults as well. Growing up, I lived in Brooklyn, New York, in an area called Canarsie. I resided in a garden apartment surrounded by my family, which included my mom, dad, and brother, along with my aunts and cousins who lived in apartments within the complex. I went to public school 279, where I was enrolled from pre-K all the way up to 3rd grade. I was a super shy little girl, so shy that I didn't even speak most of pre-K, and continued to be a quieter person throughout my time there. I actually went to school with one of my cousins, and I would whisper in her ear so that she can speak for me. I had wavy brown hair with the biggest glasses available in stores. I'm assuming it was part of the fashion because my mom wore incredibly large glasses as well. But I hated wearing my glasses with a passion, mostly because I was made fun of by most of the kids in the school, saying things like I was a nerd or I can see into the future. I even remember quite clearly that one boy said that I looked like a frog with my glasses. These weren't the happiest moments, but it would all come full circle in my future creation of Dealey and her world. And so regardless, I'm grateful for those experiences because they inspired me in more ways than one. Okay, so here we are now in the 3rd grade. I was home doing my homework with my parents and they realized I was having trouble with my work. From that day forward, my father sat me down every day after school to read with me. He bought this book called Why Johnny Can't Read, and we practiced daily until we completed the book and I was able to read independently. This sounds peachy, but I'll tell you that it was an experience mixed with lots of tears and frustration from both parties. However, in the end, I was a reader and I liked it. After learning how to read, my educational career began to flourish. I moved to a town called Bogota in New Jersey and continued excelling with each passing year. Through my time with my dad, I developed an attitude of determination in whatever I did, and that would be a key factor in my success as an educator and later author. Growing up, I always dabbled in the arts. I had a passion for drawing, painting, singing, and writing. I especially enjoyed creating characters, silly stories, and poems, which is not surprising that throughout high school, my favorite classes were art and literature. Once I graduated, I went to school and received my bachelor's degree in speech communication. To be honest, I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life, and due to fear and a lack of encouragement, I didn't pursue my artistic passions right away. Therefore, I put them aside and I picked a general area of study and completed it with honors. One day while studying for finals at my friend Lucy's house, we were taking a breather and we started chatting about our passions. I mentioned to her that I wanted to become an author to help inspire literacy on a grander scale. Given my own struggles with reading, I wanted to design stories that children could learn and grow with, stories that were educational, fun, and represented the diverse country that we live in today. These stories would target and appeal to the youngest learners, helping them to develop an enjoyment for all things literacy early on. Thus, instead of just impacting the students in my classroom, I would be able to help and inspire children all over the world develop this love for learning and reading at a younger age. So on that night, I read Lucy's story that I called Dealey's Shapely Imagination, which I actually recently published in December of 2020. And after reading the story, she enthusiastically told me that I should continue writing. That day, she awoke the artistic side of me again, and from that moment forward, I would sit and write every day after work. The ideas flooded from me, and Dealey's World was officially created in a Word doc. I had never felt so inspired and whole. I was able to take all my experiences up to that point, including childhood, professional, and so on, and develop a main character, supporting characters, and a semi-fictional world based on my life. Dealey, which is a nickname my mom gave me when I was just a little girl, short for my name, Diana Lee, became the main character. Her image was taken from my childhood photos, and I made sure to include those large glasses that I dislike so much. And the characters in her world are real people in my life that my illustrator and I created into cartoon images. Even the images within the stories were actually taken from photos of my old classrooms. So basically, every piece of Dealey's world represents a part of me in some way, shape, or form. Dealey's world not only represents me as a child, but me as an educator and professional. Thus, I ensured that the Dealey's World series incorporated preschool common core objectives, diversity, playful verbiage, and developmentally appropriate learning strategies to help increase reading, comprehension, and overall learning. In 2014, I developed and independently published Dealey's World, promoting literacy, diversity, and most importantly, fun. I already mentioned why literacy is so pivotal to me, but I wanted to quickly touch upon two other key factors of Dealey's World, which is diversity and bilingual literature. As a child of Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian descent, I understand the need or want to see myself in the books that I read. I knew that growing up in the United States, there weren't many books showcasing Latinx characters or culture. Thus, I wanted to make certain that Dealey's World contained a diverse cast of characters that children can relate to not only social-emotionally, but also physically. Additionally, I wanted to take things a step further and create a series of books that were not only in English, but also bilingual with the English and Spanish translations on the same page. Back in 2014, bilingual books weren't that common, and still today, there's a low percentage of children's books being made in a bilingual format. As a child growing up in a Hispanic American home, I recognized the need for bilingual literature not only for children, but for parents who don't even speak English as well. As a result, shortly after publishing my first 3 English books, I had them translated to create the bilingual versions. I felt that my books could be used as tools to learn Spanish for English-speaking families, and also a way for families of only Spanish speakers to either learn English or just engage with their children in reading. So as you can see, Dealey's World is not only my life, but my passion. Currently, I have 7 books in my series, which are either English only or bilingual, including the titles Dealey's Color Hunt, Dealey's First Day of School, Dealey's Outdoor Countdown, Dealey's Nighttime Scare, Dealey's Bad Day, Dealey's Snow Day, and Dealey's Shapely Imagination, 3 of which have won Children's Book Awards, including a Moonbeam Award and several International Latino Book Awards. I'm really proud of what I've accomplished in the past 7 years with Dealey's World. Since publishing on my own, I have been featured on Latina Magazine's website. I've been published in several newspapers, including the popular New York Spanish paper, El Diario de la Prensa, and I've been highlighted on podcasts and blogs, attended book events, hosted countless of readings, both virtual and in person, and I've presented and read at assemblies, and even spoken at colleges. Ultimately, I would love to bring Dealey's World to the television by creating a bilingual animated cartoon series. So we'll see what the next few years bring. And with that said, I would like to end this presentation with a reading from my book, Dealey's First Day of School. So I have a story, what could it be? I have a story, come listen and see. I have a story, what could it be? Gather around to read with me. Let me go ahead and put on my handy dandy Dealey glasses. Dealey's First Day of School. Good morning, Mommy said. Time to get up and get out of bed. Dealey rolled over and just shook her head. No, Mommy, no. I do not want to go. I will not go to school today. Can I just stay home and play? No, my big girl, you cannot. It is time to go to school, whether you like it or not. Dealey sighed and burst out in tears. This was one of her biggest fears. A new place she did not know. A place without her mommy she was forced to go. To Dealey, school seemed like a scary place, but it was something she would have to face. After all, everyone goes to school at some point, is what Mommy said. Still, Dealey would rather be home, playing instead. Dealey got ready. She grabbed her teddy, and off to school the 3 would go. At school, her mommy introduced Dealey to her teacher. Hello, my name is Miss Mayo. My name is Dealey, she said really low. Well, nice to meet you, Dealey. Welcome to room 2. I'm super excited to teach and play with you. Miss Mayo grabbed her hand, and her mommy said goodbye. No, said Dealey as she began to cry. Don't worry, my dear, it'll not be long. So Dealey grabbed Miss Mayo's hand and walked along. And as she looked around, Dealey was in for a treat. She saw her buddy Rye sitting in a yellow seat. Rye, she said, I did not know you were here. Yes, Dealey, so no need to fear. My mommy just dropped me off here too. I like it so far in school, there's just so much to do. Come with me and I'll show you. All day long, the two did lots of things. They painted, sang songs, and put beads on strings. School was not so bad after all. Dealey had Teddy, Miss Mayo Rye, some new friends, and they were all having a ball. Dealey felt happy and did not want the day to end. But then she saw her mommy's car coming around the bend. The bell rang and class was officially done. She really liked school and had so much fun. She did not want to go home. She wanted to stay. But her mommy assured her she'd be back the next day. Dealey went to her cubby and grabbed her things. She turned to her mommy and said, I cannot wait for what tomorrow brings. Goodbye, room 2, Dealey voiced loudly. Until mañana, she said proudly. The end. Thank you so much for listening to that story. Since we actually have a little more time, I'm going to go ahead and read another story called Dealey's Snow Day, featuring Dealey, her cat Mr. Mustache, and her brother Angel. In the corner of her eye, Dealey saw something falling from the sky. White objects in different shapes, a diamond, a square, a bunch of grapes. Dealey turned to her big brother and pointed toward the sky. Angel, Angel, what is that? Her voice way up high. That's called snow, Dealey, her brother said with a grin. Snow? What is snow? And can we invite it to come in? No, Dealey, we cannot, her brother replied. Snow is snow. It's not for the house. It belongs outside. Come on, let's go, and I'll show you all the wonders of snow. The two put on mittens and winter clothes. They were all geared up from their head to their toes. When Dealey walked outside, it was such a beautiful sight. The snow was fluffy and soft and oh so white. Dealey was excited and began to spin around. I love snow, she says as she twirled and plopped on the ground. The duo stuck out their tongues and let the flakes fall, continuing to do so, attempting to eat them all. Nom, 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 nom. Let's try something else, Dealey. Stand over there. As Angel jumped excitedly in the air. Let's make snow angels, Angel quickly said. It's easy, come try, as he laid in the snow, moving his hands and feet toward his head. Together they flapped their arms and hands in the snow. And when they got up, the wind started to blow. It was windier now, but there was still so much to do. Angel grabbed some snow, and Dealey did too. 1, 2, 3, they began to throw, jumping, laughing, getting hit with the snow. Dealey and Angel continued playing and having a ball. They even made a snowman and penguin tracks real small. It was darker now, and the night was growing near. They looked up at each other and knew that Daddy would soon appear. The siblings grabbed hands and began walking inside. Dealey and Angel had brought smiles a few inches wide. Both of their clothes were wet, but it was a small price to pay. Dealey never knew there were so many fun things to do on a snowy day. The end. Thank you for listening to that story as well. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for taking the time to hear about the Dealey's World book series. If you're interested in finding out more information about me and my books, please check out my website, www.dealeysworld.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Dealey's World. I have a YouTube channel that you can find by typing in my name, Diana Lee Santamaria. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Diana. That was really great. And I'm the child of a kindergarten teacher grandmother and a first grade teacher mother. So I know they would love that stuff. And they weren't as good at the voices as you are. So thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing
thank
with
you.
us. Yeah.
I feel so honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Great.
This is such an important work, Diana, and I hope our students I know our students in the methodology class are going to be reading your books and using them for their course planning in the future. So you're an inspiration to future teachers.
Thank you, Ms. Lagos.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to see what they come up with.
Yes, we will share
a
with
really
you.
great honor. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you, Mr. Blackmore. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining us. Great. So up next, another celebratory event here. We're going to hear from Dr. Virginia Ochoa Weinmiller. As you know, she's one of the Colloquium organizers, and she is assistant professor in the Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies academic program. Her teaching expertise includes courses on anthropology, archaeology, geography, geographic information systems, and Latin American studies topics, including food, drugs, migration, race and ethnicity, sex and gender, and urbanism. She knows a lot about a lot, and she could teach about it as well. Since 1989, she has conducted field work in Latin America, including several places in the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and Honduras. Her research interests include, among other topics, production and distribution of clay artifacts with 3D scanning technology, spatial analysis of ethnic housing using geographic information systems, ethnogeography focusing on the impact of globalization and urbanization in the construction of ethnic identity, and integrated research combining geography and prehistoric archaeology, focusing on settlement patterns, social stratifications, and the objects of urbanism. And she's here to talk to one of my favorite parts of the LATI Colloquium every year is celebrating our graduating LATI minors, those who have minored in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies. So Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller.
Thank you, David. And I'm going to share a PowerPoint because it's easy to visualize. We have some of our graduates with us. In the screen, you can see them. Geneva is here. Alba is here. And Christian is here as well. But you're going to see a little bit more about their lives and their stories in my presentation. So let me begin by just reminding you a little bit about what the Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies minor program is. This program addresses the need in our pluralistic society to broaden one's knowledge about Latin America, the Caribbean, and North Americans of Latin American and Caribbean ancestry. The minor focuses on the complex geopolitical, economic, social, and environmental realities of the developing countries and territories to the south of the United States and the Caribbean region. This interdisciplinary program addresses the phenomenon of widespread migration of Latin American and Caribbean peoples to the United States, something that we are reading about it now. The students with majors in most academic disciplines are able to strengthen their area of study by minoring in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies. And just to repeat the statistics that Dr. Blackmore shared with us early on, at NJCU, 43% of undergraduate students self-identified as Hispanic. This is a number more recent, began in 2017. The Office of Institutional Effectiveness is collecting this data because of the status of the university as an Hispanic-oriented institution. So let's celebrate our graduating minors. The pandemic really affected the celebration that we have every year, in the sense that we wish we could be there to hug them and kiss them and celebrate their achievements. But this is just a little bit of remembering, but also celebrating their work. So let's begin with Alondra Nunez. Alondra is a native New Yorker, a proud Dominican, and a current resident of Bayonne, New Jersey, a finance major and Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies minor. She credits the Latin minor with exposing her to other cultures and ways of living, which can potentially help her in the world of international finance in the future. She said, I definitely recommend being a Latin minor because we learn so much more than that's what's just on the surface, or in this case, on social media. Latin America is so much more than what people make it out to be. And I think this is a great minor to learn about all of it. Next, we have Bianca Ventura. Bianca is a proud Salvadoreña from North Virgin, New Jersey, a Spanish major in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies minor. She hopes to teach Spanish and sees the Latin minor as great preparation for working with the students in diverse communities. Bianca says the Latin America program is filled with amazing teachers, citing Dr. Blackmore and myself as two of her favorites. Next, we have Geneva Wilson. Geneva is a native from Rutherford, New Jersey, a political science major with minors in psychology, pre-law, and Latin American and Caribbean and Latino studies. She plans to attend grad school in the fall for communications and public relationships, and would love to get a job somewhere in the sports world. For Geneva, being a part of this department is so rewarding academically. It is a program that can coincide with just about every other major. I learned countless lessons in Latin American history, culture, and politics, as well as lessons from my fellow students of what it means to be Latins. Christian Hermes, another one of our great minors. Christian is a Dominican from Jersey City with Irish and Austrian descent, a current resident of Jackson, New Jersey, a political science major in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies minor. He's currently studying international diplomacy with a concentration in Latin America and conflict resolution at Seton Hall University. Christian praises the Latin minor for helping him to understand the shared history Latinos have. It helped me connect our long history with the politics of Latin America. Most importantly, though, it taught me that just because you come from a Latin American background does not at all mean that you are familiar with how Latin American works. And our final graduate that we're celebrating today is one of our artists that and curator of the upcoming exhibit, Alba Toledo. Alba is a native and current resident of Bayonne, New Jersey, with Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Spaniard descent, a fine arts and crafts major, and Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies minor. She plans to attend graduate school to obtain her master's degree and write a book about her experience as a mother with disabilities that has children with disabilities as well. I will be continuing my artwork on the side by creating small projects for individuals. For Alba, the Latin minor, it is vital to any Latin students that enrolls at NJCU to learn about our problems so they can be helpful to society and to their future career. A lot of students do not know how beneficial a Latin minor can be to a specific career field, especially if it involves in providing help to others or helping people during disastrous situations. So please join me on celebrating our graduates, and we hope that we have more graduates coming up and now live in 2021. We usually have a big celebration during the Colloquium Day in which we call their names and give them prizes and just highlight their contributions and their work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ochoa Weinmiller. That's always my favorite part of the colloquium, is honoring the graduates. The Latin minors are such a special, we have a little family there that we make. Yes. And they're not just students in our classes, but they usually volunteer for the colloquium and represent at open house. And so we're gonna miss you guys, but don't go far, like stay around and, go far, but keep in touch with us because you mean so much to us. So thank you. All right, so pull yourself together, Alva, because we're now moving on to the student art exhibition. And this is really exciting. This Alva Toledo, together with Cesar Sanchez, put together an art exhibition. They did everything on their own. They did the call for art. They collected the art. Dr. Lagos did help them put the art up in the center. But other than that, it really was something that they did on their own, and it's so impressive. And then they in the last week, especially, they had massive help from Joandra as they put it all together. So we have a few videos about the art exhibition, and then all of us here can speak in person about it. And so our first video is going to feature Joandra Vasquez Perez, who is a senior Spanish major at NJCU. Originally from Santa Clara, Cuba, she previously graduated in law from the Central University Marta Abreu of Las Villas. Joandra is a student assistant in the World Languages and Cultures Department and has played a huge role in mounting the art exhibition in the LATI Center space. And she's going to speak to us in Spanish. So I'm very excited about that.
El Centro de Estudios Latinoamericanos, Caribeños y Latinx del NJCU anuncia el coloquio LATI 2021. Cada año, el coloquio destaca el trabajo académico y creativo de profesores, estudiantes y alumnos de NJCU, así como de otros colegios y universidades. En mi condición de estudiante de español del Departamento de World Language, quiero destacar la participación del profesorado de este departamento en la organización, coordinación y promoción del evento dirigido a vincular el Centro de Estudios Latinoamericanos, Caribeños y Latinx con la comunidad. Agradecemos la encomiable labor de los doctores Blackmore, Lagos y Ochoa, codirectores y profesor asistente respectivamente del Centro de Estudios Latinoamericanos, y de los artistas César Omar Sánchez, Alba Toledo y Troy Jones, los que pese a las limitaciones que nos ha impuesto este tiempo tan difícil de pandemia, han logrado la realización de este evento. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Joandra. Next, we have a video. Thank you so much. So we have a video of the display that the students, together with Dr. Lagos, put up in the LATI Center space. So this is Carnutzis 102. And so let's take a look at the art in the space. Great, Joandra, thank you for putting that short video together. And then at the end of our programming tonight, we actually have a longer video where you can see more of the artworks in more detail. So that was kind of a little teaser. If you stick around, then you'll be able to see the artworks in a little bit more detail. So now we have a couple of interviews with some of the artists and organizers. And so first I'm going to introduce Cesar Omar Sanchez, who is an artist and activist and a member of the US-Cuba Normalization Committee and Pro Libertad, Free All Political Prisoners campaign. At NJCU, he majors in philosophy, and he's done past studies in computer science, media arts, web development, and nursing. And he's going to interview in this first video, Troy Jones, artist Troy Jones. Troy Jones was born and raised in Jersey City. He still resides in Jersey City and works in New York City. He received his Bachelor of Fine Arts from NJCU in 2015. He has exhibited extensively throughout the Northeastern US, as well as abroad. He's an emerging artist whose focus of art is in the medium of oil paints. He's mentored by and studied under world-renowned artist Ben Jones, who is one of our LATI Center affiliates. For the past 20 years, his latest series, Mask, deals with the African-American experience in today's America. So we'll see the interview here.
Troy, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right. How are you, sir?
Good, very good. I'm here with Troy Jones, the local Jersey City artist, former NGCU student. Now he's actually a famous artist, in my opinion. You know, he's out there, you know, doing his work, building works from a social consciousness level. And Troy, I just want to say thank you for taking this time and during these extraordinary circumstances we're all going through with the pandemic and all, but taking this time to actually talk to us allowing us to display your work at the Nuestra Lucha Pandemic and Social Decay art exhibition at NGCU. Well, Troy, I'm just going to keep it very short and concise, man, you know, because I know you have a lot on your plate and you got a lot of things you want to do, but a few questions I want to ask, and one of them is like, why you decided to actually participate at this Nuestra Lucha Pandemic Social Decay art exhibition at NGCU?
Well, I decided to participate because it deals with a lot of the things that my artwork deals with. The society in general and the things that's going on, they have to be dealt with, have to be spoke about, have to be spoken to. So these are the things that my artwork deals with. So I figured this would definitely be a very good opportunity to put my work out in front of NJCU community.
Perfect, great. Well, you know, one of the things I always admire about your work is just the deep level of social issues that it address. Now, today we have artists today, I mean, that's not to say that they're not great and everything, but I think it lacks some of the level of social consciousness, you know, bringing awareness to society and community. And today art has been, in my opinion, been made more commercialized. I mean, you know, would you agree with that assessment?
Yes, sir. Me personally, I don't create art for art's sake. There's no reason for that. For instance, when you look back at ancient societies, you look at Egypt, for example, it was the artisans that left representation for today for us to understand what was happening in those times. So, as an artist, my work is here to be left for the people of the future to understand the things that were happening in these days and times. So, you know, art for art's sake, we don't do that. We always have to make a statement with anything that we create.
Great, man. But your art, I see a lot of the Black Lives Matter protest movement that escalated about 2 years ago, maybe even further. But I see your work actually relates to like the black struggle, you know.
Struggle, baby, that's what it's about. We all in it. We all living in it. And ain't no way to get out unless we fight our way out.
That's right, man. Yeah, and don't hold back, man, because, you know, I mean, that's one of the things that, as artists, man, we always hold back. But I think, you know, with this, it's, with you at least, man, I can see with your works, man, you're not holding back. You actually tell it how it is. You express yourself how it is.
You have to, brother. We have to.
You know,
no choice at all. We have to.
Now, any message you wanna tell to young artists?
Never give up. Keep going. It might get hard. You might think it ain't gonna work. All kind of questions come to your head. What am I? Just the only thing is put the work in, keep going, never stop. Even when you think it's over, it's still not over. Put that work in. That's what it's all about, life. Put the work in. You put the work in, it's gonna speak for itself, and you're gonna get wherever you're trying to get to. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but if you're putting that work in, it's gonna happen.
Well, thank you so much, Troy. Thank you so much, man, for this, giving me this wonderful time, opportunity to talk to you directly. And thank you so much for, again, allowing us to actually display some of your works. And for those out there listening and hearing this, you know, you can check out the website at artistasunidos.art. It's ARTISTA Unidos, UNIDOS.art. And check it out. It's going to be at March 31st at NGCU campus. And I hope to see you guys there and check out Troy Jones' my fantastic works. Troy, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Cesar and Troy. And now we have one more interview, and that's with Alba Toledo. You have already met her, but Alba is a transfer student from Hudson County Community College who finished her bachelor's degree in fine arts and crafts with a minor in Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino studies in December of 2020. After her graduation, she hopes to continue her education by obtaining a master's degree. Recently, Alva was awarded the Charlotte W. Newcomb Scholarship for her academic excellence at NJCU, and she's one of the hardest working students I have ever met, I can tell you that. While in college, she became a part of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society at Hudson County and recently joined the EOF Honor Society Chi Alpha Epsilon. Alva has been a strong voice for the Latin community with her participation in every single LATI colloquium since the first one in 2018. So now we have a video interview of Alva by Cesar.
Hi, Ava. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Well, actually, good morning, first of all. And as you can tell, I just woke up not so long ago because of the circumstances we're all living today of the pandemic. Unfortunately, we had to do this interview online. But saying that, I just want to say thank you for actually taking the time. You know, as a classmate, as a friend, as una compañera, I said, thank you so much for organizing this event. I mean, I work with you on too, but this was your vision. This was your idea, you know, and I remember when I sent out that email to design, you came to me and you said, listen, why don't we work on something spectacular that addresses the issues, social issues, not only in this country, but Latin America and worldwide. So, and I just want to thank you, Ava, for this spectacular event you're putting together at the university. Unfortunately, it has to be a virtual art show because of the pandemic, but either way, I think it's very great that we're having this discussion and dialogue and getting artists together to actually have an open dialogue and reflect on all the artworks we're having. So, you know, not to delay the conversation, because I know we have a lot on our plate and we still have a lot of things to do, but I just want to start with some few questions, and I want you just to relax and just calm down and just, you know, go with the flow. So one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is, well, tell me a little about yourself, your views, you know, as an artist and behind the virtual art show at NGCU. Your name, your ethnicity, your major, just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a full-time mom, first of all, 3 handsome boys, and I'm Puerto Rican Dominican, fully proud. I'm also part Spaniard, because my family roots and stuff like that. But as an artist, I begun late, you could say, as an artist. I'm a late artist. I didn't start early like some of these new generations, but I could say I've always been drawing my entire life since a little girl, since watching my father do construction. And culturally, that's culturally was my inspiration for becoming an artist, because I saw many things growing up as a child, the difficulties, the struggles, and a lot of stuff that impacted my community, and it kind of made me want to draw it out emotionally, and it made me want to give a voice to those people who can't speak for themselves. So I kind of call myself la artista con a vision. How do you say? I give a voice to the people who can't speak for themselves through my artwork.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
My major right now, I'm graduating with a fine arts and crafts major and Latin studies background. So I wanted to combine the both of them and kind of give a voice to the Latin artists on campus, because we don't get a lot of recognition, and I thought it was very important on the Latino department to kind of give a voice to those artists and let them voice out their struggles and stuff through the campus.
Well, that's fantastic, you know. And first of all, congratulations too, because I think this was your last year at the NGCU, and you're gonna be graduating soon. Is that correct?
Yes, I graduate in June of this year. I'm excited because then that
Fantastic.
means my next step to my next journey.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations, Ava. The second question I'm going to ask you is, and of course, this is a question that I always ask every artist. So what drives you to take up such a difficult task and organizing such an important event? Like, especially for this one, what drives you? What really drives you?
What drove me for this event was because of the fact that I was going through my own struggles as a Latina, being judged and discriminated against in my community just for speaking my language, and I really got frustrated because I'm always being judged upon being a woman, judged being a Latin woman. And then I saw many other people in my community in Puerto Rico and Dominican and Cuba and Mexico, and a lot of immigrants that are trying to come into this country are struggling right now. So I thought it was very, very important for our country to address these issues, especially our community, our Latin community, to address a lot of the issues that we're struggling with and to bring it to the forefront by giving a visual to it, not just a voice. It's time for people to see the reality of the struggles that we are going through, not only in our countries, but here in America.
That's fantastic, and I think that's a very important key point. I mean, it's something that's usually overlooked. You know, something hardly even talked about in mainstream media, especially within the arts. You know, but saying that, I want to another question I want to ask you is like, in terms of art, the inspirations. What are your inspirations? The passion that captivates you, to paint, to create crafts within the same social issues, consciousness. You know.
Well, I take issues like the wall that Trump was trying to build to block our people from coming into this country. That was one of the issues that came about that kind of inspired me to create a piece of work. There was issues about natural disasters happening in my country, Puerto Rico, with the hurricane that just had impacted them. That inspired my work majorly because they struggled a lot, not only with the struggles of the hurricane, the political stuff that happened afterwards that made my people protest for our rights. So I think those issues are very important to kind of address in a visual aspect, to give people a view of how much the devastation of what the global economy is doing to our country sometimes by destroying our rainforest, destroying our resources and our income and everything that we use in our country and well as here in America to survive. So I wanted to bring to the forefront those struggles and then the resilience of those struggles, of how our people have overcome and how we continue to fight for the voice of our people.
That's fantastic. You know, I mean, if we were to keep on having these conversations, I think we would go hours talking about like the whole social issues. But that's a fantastic response, Ava. You know, and the last question I'm going to ask you, because I know you're a very busy woman. As a single mom, as an artist, you still have a lot of projects you still want to put out there in the near future. And this is pretty much a simple question. Any Latin artists that you admire or would like to follow their footsteps?
Yes, there's many actually. I have Frida Kahlo, of course, the Mexican artist. She was one of them. There's also some other Latin artists Puerto Rican artists that I follow. I even follow some American artists and some German artists. There's not one particular artist that I follow. I mostly follow their work because their work is what speaks volumes to me. There's work that hit about struggle, like when the Jewish people were struggling with the whole Nazi thing. Those artworks spoke volumes to me because it showed the struggle that they went through. even the Black Lives Matter movement right now is speaking volumes to me because I see the struggle within their work. I see what they are trying to address and bring to the forefront. And those are the same values and beliefs that I'm trying to bring to our people for them to speak up and speak against the discrimination that we've been facing.
That's right. Well, Albert, thank you so much for this time, taking the time to having this quick chat. You know, again, Alba Toledo, you know, senior at NGCO, artist, majoring in, I'm sorry, can you, last time you were majoring, a minor is Latin American Studies, and what were your majors? Art, fine arts, what is?
My major is fine arts and crafts. I have a BA in fine arts and crafts, and I have a minor in Latino and Caribbean studies.
Thank you for correcting me on that. I'm so sorry about that. But again, thank you so much, Ava. And of course, for those of you who's actually listening and watching this this Skype interview, you could go to artistasunidos.art to see the entire website and in terms of all the artists that we're having there. Again, it's Artistas Unidos, ARTISTA Unidos, UNIDOS.art, artistasunidos.art. Again, Ava, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview. And I hope to see more of this in the near future, even after, when you graduate.
Thank you so much, too. It was a pleasure working with you.
All right, Ava. Well, I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Cesar and Alva. And I put the website address into the chat there. That's actually a great website that Cesar put together, and it has actually all the interviews that we just showed right now, as well as bios of the individual artists. And so it's a great resource. We actually have more of the artwork to show you. But before that, Alva's here. So if anybody has any questions or comments would like to that you'd like for her to address, and Alva, if you have any comments you'd like to make.
Well, I just want to say I'm glad for everybody for coming to see our show, and hopefully that future students continue with this exhibition because it's important for artists, especially Latin artists, to kind of, excuse me, sorry, those are my kids. It's important for future generations, especially artists. It's difficult to kind of explain, but as a Latin artist, you kind of get put down a lot. And so it's important for artists not to shy away from the opportunities that the college can provide. And also that it's important for Latin artists to get recognition away from the art department. Although like we do get recognition in the art department, we get a lot of resources and stuff thrown at us, but we want to be also known for being that Latin artist. We want to address those situations that are affecting us within our own communities, not just the American community. So that's why it was very important for me to throw this show together, because yes, I am an artist. Yes, I am a part of America, but it doesn't speak for the other artists, the immigrant artists, the African Latino artists, the artists that are coming into America from the Caribbean, from South America, from wherever. Some of them don't get the recognition that like in the art department, yeah, everybody's there, everybody's together, everybody's doing their own little projects, but it's important as a Latin person to get that recognition for being a visionary on situations that people don't understand outside of our community.
Thank you, Alva. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I just want to thank also Alva's father, who was at the center yesterday all day, hanging everybody's work, and just shows how our communities working together to, for this successful exhibit and colloquium. And I want to thank your dad, who was a great curator yesterday. So thank you so much. And also Joandra Vasquez's family was there yesterday helping set up. They were curating, the students were the actual curators of the exhibit, and congratulations. Thank you.
We also have Cesar here. Cesar, would you like to say a couple words?
Cesar, help. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, greetings, watching and listening. And I just try to keep it very brief. I know that I schedule. I think that what Alva said is very important. Ideologue, philosophy. The thing is to find common ground. Great jazz player, career blocker, I said, once you find common ground. I think that's one of the essence last large stretch. People and Netta speaking about Sheila. All our brothers and sisters. Largely bring that solidarity. Thank you, Pueblo. I could be thank Mr. Blackmore. It was fantastic. Webinar, Dr. Colloquium, Professor Virginia Chua, Dr. Lagos, I apologize. To all the NGC staff members listening to this, to everybody, to my brothers and sisters, please up the facility.
All right, thank you, Cesar. We missed some of that. Your video was coming and going, but thank you for that, and thank you for the hard work that you put into the art exhibition that everybody did. Okay, so I think now we can go ahead and play the video of where we can see the art a little bit more closely. Thank you again to Joandra, and I believe your son helped with this as well.
Yes.
So this was very much, this art exhibition was very much a family affair. And so we appreciate the whole families. And so we can just, this will be our last thing for tonight. And so we'll just leave that playing. And so everybody can take a closer look at the art. And we hope that you will join us tomorrow. Yes, join us tomorrow. We have a really great program all day. We have academic panels in the morning and early afternoon on all kinds of great topics. And then we have back-to-back creative writing panels in the afternoon that are going to be very exciting, I think. And then at the closing ceremony, we'll hear from the new director of the Guarini Institute, as well as hear music from the Latin American Ensemble. So it's going to be a great day tomorrow. You can use the same login, same way you got here today. You can get in tomorrow. And so I know some of you will see you because you'll be presenting, but I hope to see the rest of you as well whenever you can join us tomorrow. So thank you very much. And thank you, Chris, especially for making this all work today. And so we'll leave you with this video of the students' incredible art. Great, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you, I hope, tomorrow for the great presentations and the closing ceremony. Thank you so much to the artists and everybody who spoke today and everybody who joined us. Have a good night, everyone.